Oh! Alright, this is a video I decided to put together really in regards to a viewer's request. They attempted to replace the rear brake pads on a Maxima and they got stuck. They were unable to reinstall the caliper. So I decided to put this video together just to help anyone out there looking to do this kind of work on the car. It's not a difficult job. It doesn't take very long. And as always, I don't use any air tools, just basic hand tools as you'll see in the video. And that being said, let's go ahead and let's get to it. Alright, once you remove the tire, just place it to the side, and now we have access to the caliper bolts. And you have two bolts that hold on the caliper. You have one guy up here, and then you have a lower bolt right here. Also make sure your e-brake is off, because if your e-brake is on, this caliper will be very difficult to remove. So go ahead and remove both of these bolts. Now these two bolts are 14mm nuts, and usually what I'll do is I'll tap the bolts loose using a small hammer. That way it just makes it a lot easier and you don't have to beat up your hands. Now we can go ahead and slide off the caliper. And this can be a little sticky sometimes, but there you go. And then we'll just place that to the side for now. And as you can see, these brake pads are in good shape. I'm just doing this as a how-to. Alright, so this is where some of you are getting stuck. At the rear caliper, at the rear caliper, as you can see, you have this sort of cross at the end of the piston. And essentially these are little grooves that you can fit a tool that pushes back, or actually turns in, the piston of the caliper. On some other vehicles you've probably seen the piston in that you could just simply push it in with a C-clamp or a large pair of pliers. But on these cars, on the Hondas, a lot of vehicles today, the way that this works is you have to turn this piston clockwise and at the same time push in. So you're turning and pushing to get this caliper piston, to get the piston back into the caliper. Now there are two ways you can do this. The easiest way by far is to get yourself a tool set that's specifically made to do this. And right here I do have a tool set. As you can see, it's a nice little set. Let me back up here for a second. Nice little tool set. It has various sizes. For the Maxima, we can use this guy right here. Oops, sorry about that. This guy right here. And I'll show you how to use this tool. This is option 1. I'll show you this option. Option 2, which I have done before in the past, is you can use the end of a crowbar or a very large screwdriver. It's a lot harder this way. If you can get yourself a tool set, you could probably rent these from AutoZone or Advance Auto. I just purchased one from Harbor Freight. Maybe I think it was 35 bucks or so, so it's really not that bad. So let's go ahead and get this piston back in the caliper. or into the caliper body. So here's my tool. I'm going to use this adapter right here. Place it on the end, like so. And again, this turns. This turns like so. So I'll be pushing and turning at the same time. Just line it up with the grooves. Let me see if I can get a top view for you guys. Alright, so here we go. And again, what you have to do is, at the end of this adapter, you have these little nudges here, and you'll insert them into the grooves of the piston. And you'll feel when you have a nice grip. And sorry, I can't really give you a better view. Let me see if I could do this, hold the camera at the same time. Whoop, I probably can't. Let's hold on here. Let's see if I can get this. I don't want to put too much pressure on the brake line, but what you're going to do is get a firm hold on it, and then you're going to turn it. And it's not too easy to, you know, these calipers could be quite old, or they are quite old, and sometimes they can freeze up. This one isn't frozen, but you see how it's turning? Let me see if I can get a zoom in here. So you're going to turn it. This is by far the easiest way to do this. So you'll save a lot of time, a lot of aggravation, and a lot of swearing if you just do it this way. Just take your time, and it goes in there quite nicely. I'm not going to do it all the way just because, again, I'm not changing my brake pads. But that's what you need to do to remove the, to place that piston back into the bore of the caliper. And you can go ahead and reinstall your brake pads here. Like so. Just make sure it's nice and tight. You can tap with a hammer. And that's all that's really involved. Just go ahead and reinstall the wheel and you're in good shape. Alright, that's all that's really involved on replacing the rear brake pads on the Maxima. As you can see, it's very straightforward. It's not a difficult job. Do yourself a favor though, if you can, try to get that tool set. If you don't have it, you can still do the job, but it makes it a lot harder. In fact, the factory manual even states you can use needle nose pliers and fit the end of the pliers into the groove of the piston, and you'll be able to turn it by hand. I tried that once. I was unsuccessful. It was very difficult. I didn't have enough strength to turn and push in, because you have to turn and push the piston at the same time, and it's hard if you don't have that tool. I have done it before with the crowbar that I showed in the video, but again, it makes the job a lot harder. That being said, if anyone out there has any other suggestions, that'd be great. Leave them below. Any comments, questions, leave them below. And any requests, any additional work you want to see done on the Maxima, I'll try to get it done. And that being said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.